To part 10 of the usage what if scenarios. In this part, we're going to look at creating an EV diversion. So we're going to charge the EV from the excess solar. In order to do this, we need to start with a plan or a usage scenario that has got solar. So we're going to take this solar battery and purchase shifting option. We're going to copy it, edit it, give it a better name. In this case, we'll call it EV, and we'll save that off. Then, as usual, we have to remember when we make a copy. As usual, we have to remember that when we make a copy, we need to specify that we want or to update the solar data. So updating the solar data for panel set 1. And for string 2, we can update the data again. And that is the job done. Actually, I'm going to change the orientation of these panels so I get a better spread of electricity generated throughout the day. I'm going to download and save that. So that's going to be pointing southwest, so a little bit longer throughout the day. It'll be slightly better for our EV charging. Okay, and to come out of this example, and we'll get the simulation through, and we see, very good, we have a cost, and we have, at this stage, the PV is not in any way, shape, or form being distributed to an EV because we don't have anything defined, and down here you can see there's nothing green in the pie chart. So, without further ado, I'll add a diversion. When you add a diversion, you click down here on the bottom right and you can specify a name for this EV diversion if you want to. I'm not worried about that, so I won't. You need to activate it to make sure that it is active, so you don't have to delete them. You can just deactivate them if you're playing with different scenarios here. If you don't specify you want your EV diversion first, then the hot water will be heated, and only when the hot water has reached its target temperature will the EV be charged. Then we have a max diversion. It's just a limit on how much you're going to put into the car at any given time. In this case, it's 16 kilowatt hours. I'm totally fine with that. Then there's the minimum kilowatt hours to divert. I'm going to put this at 0.1. Unfortunately, at the moment, there's a bug in the app, which means I actually have to divide this real value by 12 to get the actual figure that I need. What this figure represents is the minimum available excess kilowatts before your car will start to charge. So I can hide those properties and show the days. I want this to be scheduled Monday through Sunday every day of the year. I can hide that. Now, when it comes to the schedule, there's no draw on this one. It's going to give you whatever is available from the excess solar. This is purely about excess solar, and there's nothing stopping you combining the solar with the scheduled EV charging, which we looked at in part 9. In this case, I'm going to take the same scenario that I had in scenario 9, in part 9. I'm going to have a commute 70 kilometers a day. I need 12 kilowatt hours per day. So I'm also going to assume that my car does approximately 16 kilowatt hours to the 100 kilometers, and that I'm back in the home from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until 6 o'clock in the afternoon in order to take advantage of the sunlight. Of course, if I'm not here, I can't do that, so there's no way you can do an EV diversion if your EV's not plugged in. Obvious, but need to know this. Okay, so I'm now going to save this off because I've defined my EV diversion, and then go back and run it as a simulator. And I can see in this case now my green has appeared, so I am in fact diverting some of the PV towards the EV. And if I look at the yearly summary, I can see that it's 10.1%. And if I filter this and show the EV diversion, then I can remove the others. I can see the monthly distribution of the EV diversion. So in March, I'm not getting so much. In June, Here I'm getting in excess of 200 kilowatt hours diverted to the EV. I don't think that's quite enough. So one of the things that I can look at here is to increase the number of panels that I have. So if I go, I know the inverter can actually cater for 22 panels. So if I put 11 on this side and then fetch and update the data for that, I need to do this because I've changed the numbers. I can go back and set 11 on the back panels as well, and also fetch and update the data. And we'll see if that made a difference to my overall consumption here. I can save this off and come back out, let it simulate, and it has slightly better figures here. And go into my yearly summary. It doesn't seem to have made much odds at all, in fact, which is a bit odd. Because it hasn't updated my PV for some reason. Let me try that again. Why did it not update the PV? Probably because I hadn't saved it. So if I fetch and update the data again, come back, panels, fetch and update, and come back, save this back. Okay, and here you can see the slice of PV is significantly better. And if I go to my year summary, I can see that I am actually getting much better PV. I'm getting in excess of 300 and nearly 400 kilowatt hours for several months of the year for the short duration, which the EV and the EV percentage of load has now gone up to 18.2%. I'm still feeding in quite a lot of electricity into the grid. So thank you for listening. Bye.